Sagicor School Companion Health Plan for as little as $2,540 per month. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
Tonight in CVM News at 7, allegations of misconduct surface in Department of Correctional Service. Jamaica unlikely to meet Vision 2030 timeline, and Caribbean Maritime Awareness Week off to a great start.
Also this evening, PNP Women's Movement claims abuse of power in Northeast St. Anne by election announcement. In the business report, Jamaica's roadmap for AI development. And in sports, Williams steps down as Dunbeholden coach. From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. I'm Stephen McHugh.
And I'm Curlin Brown. It's Monday, September 23, 2024. Thanks so much for joining us. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has recently found himself in the spotlight, facing some of the most damning headlines after the release of an Integrity Commission report regarding his earnings.
However, this wasn't the only explosive report tabled in Parliament, as new allegations of impropriety have emerged. Tonight, CVM News breaks through the noise to bring you a troubling report focusing on the Department of Correctional Services. Ramon Gordon has more.
An investigation has uncovered allegations of misconduct within the department, including a questionable check issued to a Mr. John Wayne, which was reportedly cashed without proper authorization. This revelation has prompted the Integrity Commission to call for an investigation by the Police Commissioner.
The report highlights a significant lack of oversight regarding the rental of facilities at the Carlatry Staff College, operated by the Department of Correctional Services, DCS. It also indicates that there were irregularities involving its rental to external parties, including a church, without proper oversight from the DCS. The investigation reveals that approval processes were bypassed, with the head of entity and human resources unaware of certain rentals, violating established protocols. Several persons are implicated in the report for other infractions, including Miss Crystal Byfield, a former director at Carlatry Staff College, linked to multiple conflicts of interest.
She recommended her mother, Mrs. Debbie Parsons Morris, principal of St. Anne's Bay Infant School, for a position in a curriculum development and training program. This violated the department's code of discipline. Further irregularities have emerged regarding procurement practices, particularly involving Grove Choice, a supplier from whom the college purchased goods worth over $1.2 million.
Mrs. Byfield's undisclosed relationship with the supplier's owner raises further concerns about the integrity of the procurement process. Byfield defends her mother's involvement, calling any implication of misconduct unfounded and unfair. The report concludes that the department lacks written policies to manage facility rentals or conflicts of interest, highlighting the urgent need for reforms. That's why the Integrity Commission has recommended comprehensive policy changes to prevent future misconduct and restore trust. This development comes amid ongoing scrutiny surrounding the Prime Minister himself. Following the Integrity Commission's report into his statutory declarations, Holness delivered a vigorous defense on September 17. Opposition leader Mark Golding was prevented from responding.
Parliament reconvenes tomorrow, September 24. Ramon Gordon for CVM News.
Now, despite the country's continued strides in various sectors, the Prime Minister recently announced Jamaica is missing the mark for 2030. Adrian Williams shares expert reactions on that development.
Even though we had our Vision 2030 before the development goals were put in place, we have been doing very well on our development goals. We have done an assessment, and we're not going to hit developed country status by 2030. But hear what? Jamaica is doing the best out of all the Caribbean countries.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness, addressing a diaspora town hall in New York at the weekend, mentioned that Jamaica would not be attaining developed state status by 2030. Vision 2030 was designed back in 2009 to drive social transformation and effect significant improvements to the living standards of all Jamaicans. Development economist Dr. Chris Stokes weighs in on the revelation.
Look, it was ambitious. It was extremely ambitious. I mean, the level of growth rates that we'd need in the economy, the amount of investment that we'd need in education and infrastructure, electricity, crime prevention, are really astounding and beyond what could reasonably be projected.
Using Ireland as an example of a nation that moved from a middle-income status to a high-income status in 10 years, The Economist says for Jamaica, the expected time frame for the extent of progress was aggressive, with the various challenges to be resolved.
Education had to happen before many other things, and also focusing on bringing crime under control through different mechanisms. It's one of the conditions precedent to the sort of broad-scale economic development, social index development that we'd want to see in the country. So yes, they have been a drag on the direction that we want to go in, but they're not unexpected, and in fact, they were listed in the plan as issues to be addressed.
Having a high gross domestic product, GDP, advanced infrastructure, and access to education and healthcare are key factors driving a country to develop state classification. Dr. Stokes believes, despite that expectation sliding to the dismal end of the spectrum for Vision 2030, Jamaica is not short of attaining progress.
There's any small country in the world that can do it. I believe Jamaica is that country. The implementation strategy, as opposed to the national development strategy, the implementation strategy, I believe, needs to be revisited. And I think based on what we have been able to do in the past, based on the capacity that we have not to do things going forward, and what the implementation strategy is, I would suggest that we should leave it to the PIOG to come back with a longer term projection as to when we can hit what marks.
Dr. Stokes maintains achieving progress step by step would be ideal, after which a more accurate projected timeline can be made. Adrian Williams for CVM News.
Residents of Mile Gully, Manchester, and opposition spokesperson on Transport and Works, Michael Phillips, are expressing displeasure with the usage of heavy-duty trucks on the main thoroughfares. We hear more from Adrian Williams.
Opposition spokesperson on Transport and Works, Michael Phillips, journeyed to Mile Gully, Manchester, to voice concerns about the damage to roads allegedly by heavy-duty vehicles from bauxite mining and alumina production company, Jamalco.
Taxi drivers complaining about the road surface and the operation of Jamalco with their trucks on the narrow roadway heading into Mile Gully. And just, it was averted. I had a conversation with Jamalco in how it is that they treat with their transportation of the bauxite.
Phillips is urging Jamalco to work speedily towards the solution.
We are encouraging them to fast track the haulage road that they have been promising us for the last 4 years that they will put into effect to take their trucks off the road. It is beyond me why it is that after 4 years we're still waiting on them to even conclude the agreements between themselves and the government and other landowners.
He says the residents are at their tipping point.
I think the patience of the residents and the operators within the Mile Gully area, public passenger and other road users is growing thin. It is growing thin for me too. So we hope that Jamalco, as they have promised at 2025, that they will start some work on the haul road.
The opposition spokesperson says he's not threatening the bauxite and mining company, but insists something needs to be done.
I'm not threatening them, but it is due time that they come off of the main road. Otherwise, the operators, I'm not going to be the one to ask the residents to not show their stress on Jamalco.
Adrian Williams for CVM News.
Kingston's Mayor Andrew Swaby is not happy with the state of the popular Coronation Market. During a cleanup exercise, he shared his concerns as well as his plans to improve the space. Britannia Witter has that story.
The Coronation Market, known for its hustle and bustle, is the largest of its kind in Jamaica. Vendors from various backgrounds all cling to the establishment, selling a range of fruits, vegetables, and other produce. During a recent cleanup exercise, Mayor of Kingston, Andrew Swaby, says he's unsatisfied with the current condition of the market and aims to have more frequent cleaning operations.
No one could be ever satisfied with the state of the current market. There be some minimum standards that we are trying to reach. At least we should have the market washed even once per month. Make sure that we have all the garbage cleared away on a weekly basis, 2 or 3 times. Currently it's being done 2. What we are trying to do is if we can clear it 3 times per week.
Adding that some vendors are contributing to the pileup of garbage in and around the market, the mayor says it will take a team effort.
Obviously, we have to speak to some of the coconut vendors because they are producing a lot of their coconut hooks, you would call it, and we'll see how we can solve that problem. But clearly, as I've indicated, that we are going to tackle these problems one by one. We have to make sure we cultivate the habit where our workers make sure that they know the minimum standard what's expected of them. And also, we have to encourage the vendors that they also have a role to play in keeping our markets clean. It can't be a situation where they just come, they vend their goods there and leave it like that. That's when they clear up some of the spots and to help us.
The plea for help from the vendors comes as the mayor says the current market fee is not enough to adequately cover the expense for the upkeep the market needs. Aiming to enhance the market experience, Mayor Swaby says he has considered other areas such as parking for shoppers.
I have announced of the parking facility that we are erected. I think it should take about 6 months or was the projected time. So we are about 2 months shy of making sure that comes into being. I want to thank the Minister of Local Government because he had readily provided those funds to make sure that persons can come downtown and park in style. Because you have to understand that not just you are here, but suppose the ambulance want to pass. You have to make sure you have the free flow of emergency vehicles.
Britannia Witter, CVM News.
Still lots more to come here on CVM News at 7. Stay with us.
Yeah man, make some noise because Burger King Double Deal Big 2 is back. The $16.50 you get 2 whole of Burger King combo is a win-win. Pick 2 combos: Whopper Junior Cheese with bacon, American Chicken Sandwich or Big Fish Sandwich combo for only $16.50. Spend 1 money, win 2 times. Food for me and my party are just for me cause me hungry right now. Myself and I go hungry later. You see it? 1 money, 2 food. 1 money, 2 food. Win-win. Burger King Double Deal Pick 2. Me, I go show them my way of justice.
I'm abused.
I need legal advice. I don't deserve this.
The truth of the matter is, justice there for all of we. The Ministry of Justice has trained more than 5,600 persons in restorative justice practices. More than 200,000 victims have been supported by the victim services. Legal aid has reached thousands island-wide. Make we talk it out, not fight it out. Call 888 Justice today.
Father, what you doing again?
Writing the opera Isaiah.
Isaiah?
Jamaican opera, master.
Jamaican opera?
Yes. It's about the greatest of prophets.
When is it going to be?
5th and 6th of October.
One
weekend only.
Where can I get my ticket?
You have to check social media, master.
Social media?
Social media.
But father, you're going high-tech, man.
Yeah, man.
Isaiah, October 5 and 6 at the National Arena. 1 weekend only. Don't you miss it.
It's a rainy Monday evening in Kingston City, and we welcome you back to CVM News at 7. The Sir John Golding Rehabilitation Centre is slated to receive new equipment soon. The Health Minister has promised to donate more equipment on the heels of the centre's 70th anniversary. Trisha Kelly has the details.
One major issue plaguing the health sector is a shortage of equipment. For years, public hospitals have raised their voices over inadequate resources, and families have wept for loved ones who fell prey to their illnesses with no access to the required resources. It's for this reason that the Ministry of Health is sourcing equipment for hospitals island-wide. In recent times, the ministry donated equipment to the Surgeon Rehabilitation Center, which mainly assists ailing citizens with physiotherapy. Senior medical officer at the facility, Dr. Rory Dixon, says it's important that those in need learn of the entity's services before it's too late.
Because what we find sometimes is that persons do not come here in a timely manner, and they end up with a lot more complications because the awareness is not out there that the services exist. And because we are the only institution of its kind, it's also important for persons to be able to deal with these conditions, even if they're not here, so that they can manage in the community and wider society.
The center celebrated its 70th anniversary this year. In highlighting its contribution to the country, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton revisited the facility and spoke on the importance of physiotherapy.
When one is injured to the extent of a broken limb, a bone, head fracture, whatever, to get back their mobility, to restore normality, it's not just a function of the medication that you take from the pharmacy. You're going to have to engage in critical occupational therapy, which is to motion movement, gradually, guided by the experts, and you need equipment to do it.
However, he highlighted the country's deficiency in that aspect. The minister, who has had first-hand experience with physiotherapy after being hit from his bicycle, vowed to donate more equipment to the facility.
I'm saying, give me a shopping list of some of the critical equipment you need. And I'm going to commit to you that if not before, certainly within the next budget, I'm going to commit some money for you to add some badly needed or some equipment so you can treat your patients.
The facility was one of the first to introduce physiotherapy to the country, an area of specialty that has gained popularity over the years. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
Now, following the deaths of numerous public passenger vehicle operators, the Transport Operators in Development Sustainable Services, TODS, joined PPV operators to observe a day of mourning for those who have been killed in the line of duty. Monday's meeting was also to discuss possible solutions to the issue. Here again is Trisha Gay Kelly with that report.
Monday was observed as a day of mourning for public passenger vehicle operators island-wide. In 2023, approximately 80 taxi operators were murdered. That's according to President of the Transport Operators Development Sustainable Services, TODS, Edgston Newman, who says though the numbers have declined this year, it's still not good enough.
Day of mourning cannot be a good day for the sector. But we are losing our operators actually every single week across the country. The latest was a couple of days ago in Salem, Montego Bay. Something must be done, and there's nothing much that we can do.
He explains the night shift is when business rarely booms, but he notes it's no longer safe for the operators.
Income, the resources coming in from the sector is not much. And so our men and women have to work up to 18 hours per day. They have to work the graveyard shift in order to survive. The sector is saddened that we have lost 40 men since the start of the year.
Newman is hoping the government can address the situation, but he explains it's quite understandable, adding there's not much the government can do.
The takeaway from today, the lesson to be learned from today, help from the government. Provide for us the environments to which we can operate safely. That's our takeaway. We are calling for an urgent meeting with the Commissioner of Police to see how best we can sit and work out a way to deal with this problem.
In recent months, PPV operators have staged protests against the constant killing of their co-workers, as well as alleged injustices against the group. Trisha Gay Kelly, CVM News.
And tonight, a father is making a desperate plea for help in locating his 15-year-old daughter. CVM News was told she has been missing for almost 3 months after a disagreement with relatives. Her father is now holding on to hope that he will be reunited with his daughter soon. Courtney Lewis tells us more.
Her name is Alison Alicia Allen, a 15-year-old student of the McGrath Comprehensive School. And according to her family, she ran away from her home in St. Catherine after a disagreement with her mother. Her father, Dwayne Allen, who lives overseas, shared the details of her disappearance.
She was with her mom, but as you know, these new teenager, like everything a parent would say would be offended, or when the end of the day is better we want. But sometimes as parent we kind of ash where child would have feel like said them parents to ash with them. So I don't know, her mom says she and her have a little altercation and then she just run away.
Mr. Allen alleges Alison has been missing since July, and despite his best efforts to locate his daughter, all avenues, including the police, have seemingly come up short.
Somebody tell me that they see her, but as you know, people protect themselves, you know, nobody know involved. One time you'd hear people say a community race pitney, but that not happen again because people afraid for even talk. Everybody just hold them mouth. When I did ask the mom to report it to the Lindsay police station, they said, "True is runaway, she run away. They can't classify her as a missing person. The mother would have to locate an address where they can go and make a search."
Now, her father is making a desperate plea for information and is hopeful for a reunion soon.
Listen, if you are watching this video, just know your father love you and your rest of family, them love you. And you know we all make mistake and you have a bright future ahead of you. And if you have nobody to reach out to, you can call Susan, you know my number, or any family member, you know we all of my family then there. Please, if anybody know her or whereabouts, you can reach out to the Lindsay police station or Susan at 423-0258. Thank you very much.
Courtney Lewis for CVM News.
More to come from CVM News at 7, right after this break.
Did you know that the Bureau of Standards Jamaica, or BSJ as we are known, has been serving and helping Jamaican businesses to grow for over 54 years, now testing over 57,000 products annually? The BSJ develops and promotes standards for products consumers see and use every day. We stand tall as your quality assurance partner, testing a range of products including foods, construction materials, petroleum products, packaging material, cosmetics, paints, and pharmaceuticals. Did you know that the BSJ has over 20 labs in Kingston that conduct these tests, operating at the highest international standards, giving you the speed to take your products from the lab to market, driving your business growth with 100% confidence.
This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Search for its breeding sites and destroy them. This is the Aedes aegypti mosquito that spreads the Zika, chikungunya, and dengue viruses. Protect yourself from the bite of this mosquito.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
As a fitness guy, I was surprised by my chronic illness diagnosis. I thought working out harder would fix it, but it wasn't enough. Now, my prescription meds are a part of my routine.
When I got my diagnosis, I really felt down and stopped spending time with the people I love. Then I decided not to let any disease get the best of me. And I'm committed to taking my meds as prescribed.
On time, every time.
No hesitation. Take your medication. A message from the NHF. NHF is here for health. NHF is here for you.
Welcome back. Time now for the Business Report with Joel Crosskill.
Lots to share with you in the Business Report today. While it's always been impossible to even spell Caribbean without AI, the importance of the pairing for many small island developing states SIDS like Jamaica in the development of strategies, national policies, and improved digital literacy to manage the impact artificial intelligence will and is already having on their societies is becoming more pronounced. However, the Caribbean Artificial Intelligence Initiative, led by the UNESCO Cluster Office for the Caribbean, aims to develop a sub-regional strategy on the ethical, inclusive, and humane use of AI in the Caribbean. The initiative, which has been gathering expertise from various stakeholders from different sectors in the English and Dutch-speaking Caribbean, were brought into focus during the AI for IA Jamaica panel discussion hosted by the Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica, which provided a trove of knowledge on the subject from a Caribbean perspective, including that of Executive Director of the Broadcasting Commission of Jamaica, Cordell Green, convener of the Caribbean AI Initiative.
The Caribbean AI Initiative began, the kernel really was the thinking of the Broadcasting Commission that we couldn't have exponential technologies, frontier technologies, changing all the operating systems of the society, and we sit by and observe. The Commission took the initiative to engage with the UNESCO Information for All program and the Caribbean Cluster Office for UNESCO on this subject. And that gave birth to the Caribbean AI Initiative, which really is more of a grassroots type movement.
Dr. Anna Paolini, former Director, UNESCO Representative, UNESCO Office for the Caribbean, expounded on the ambitions of the Caribbean Artificial Intelligence Initiative.
Our call of action is really the governments, academia, private sector, civil society at all levels, including indigenous people and community, must unite to develop a comprehensive artificial intelligence strategies that focus on culture, governance, education, but in particular the resilience and the digital infrastructure.
Craig Peru, Research Fellow and Senior Consultant at the Mona School of Business and Management UWI, however, revealed that changes in Jamaica's population profile should be considered when determining the strategies taken when investing in those domains.
The most important thing I need to share with you here is that what the demographic makeup of Jamaica is such that the vast majority of Jamaicans are now of working age, and the population is aging rapidly. At independence in 1962, more than half of the population in Jamaica was below the age of 18 years old. And so we've made immense investments in education, initial education, elementary, school, that's early childhood through to secondary education in Jamaica. But the truth is that the average Jamaican is now 30 years old and is in the workforce. And therefore, we need to shift the vast majority of, we need to shift a lot more resources to workforce training, an enormous amount of resources to workforce training, because it is this workforce that we have now that's going to determine whether Jamaica can really become a developed country.
That ambition was recently presented with a setback, with the recognition that it is unlikely that Jamaica will accomplish the Vision 2030 development goals. However, according to Erica Simmons, lead author of the Caribbean Artificial Intelligence Policy Roadmap, there are aspects of the technology deserving of priority attention.
For privacy and security, we know that there is a rapid increase in the use of biometric systems such as facial recognition and fingerprint recognition, and we really lack strong governance in the region. So the roadmap stresses the need for laws that protect personal data, prioritizing policies for high-risk use cases in industries such as healthcare, justice, and education.
And that was your Business Report. I'm Joel Crosskill.
Thanks, Joel. We go to another break with the market summary.
big deal when we touch the ground. Yeah, a KFC when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste of a KFC, big deal. The time by KFC is.
Buy a bag of Hypro feeds and win a bag of cash in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Hypro is back with another chance for you to win a share of millions in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Try for the grand prize of $3 million. Weekly prizes of $100,000 plus daily prizes. To enter, buy any qualifying Hypro feed and text the entry code in the bag for your chance to win a bag of cash in the Hypro Farm to Fortune promotion. Watch your pocket grow. Watch it grow with Hypro. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Ray and Never, feel with culture. Yo!
New beginning, we winning, so share our spirit where you living, yeah.
Share it.
I make we all a one bar, you don't know we come from far.
From far, anytime we rep, feel with country. Rear rum, it have to come with me.
No matter with the bad vibes.
Poor rear rum, a celebration time. Rear rum.
I feel with culture.
Rear rum.
Make we show ya Jamaican culture.
Ray and Never, overproof from we just have to do with culture.
Based on his personality, what kind of bug would you compare your husband to? Tasha.
A roach.
Through the feed on social media.
So, what's trending in our local social media spaces? Starting December 1, 2024, travelers from Jamaica and other Caribbean nations will need to obtain an electronic travel authorization before visiting Thailand, as the visa-free entry privilege will be discontinued. This new requirement will apply to all travelers from affected countries who will need to secure an ETA in advance to ensure a smooth journey to Thailand. Here are some of your reactions. At King Kim asks, boy oh boy, Jamaica stay losing me man, what did we do this time? At Chrisanne says, the amount of place you can go on your JA passport, people, look it up. At CD Scratched shares, why people don't read with understanding. It is still visa-free. ETA is more of a register. It applies to all visa-free countries. Canada, USA, South Korea, Israel, and more do it to their visa-exempt foreigners. At Brady the Great adds, soon need visa for Gomo Bay. At Johnny876 comments, only thing Jamaica passport can do you know is open bank account. And that's what's trending online today. Continue to share your thoughts with us on X at CVM TV and CVM_television on Instagram. I'm Courtney Lewis.
And we go to regional and international news.
We begin with news in the region. Barbadian Prime Minister Mia Mottley has called for concrete action to bring ordinary citizens on board in the fight for climate justice and other key global issues. She was addressing the closing ceremony of the Summit of the Future Action Days at UN headquarters in New York. The details from CBC News, Barbados.
They are adamant on not creating the space or the policy flexibility or the access to the funding necessary for us to bring along others. It is unconscionable for us not to recognize that unless